Sunday Turkey Day Regatta. I was really on my game this morning. I left my bag with my radio, my life jacket, everything at the dock. And the lesson here is these guys got to learn how to read the flags. At 2 minutes, the P flag goes up. At 1 minute, the P flag goes down. So you shouldn't have to ask how much time there is. You know when the P flag goes down, you have less than a minute. But they were all still really confused. So we got 3 to 5 knots, 3 to 6 knots. And our goals are to make sure we know when we're starting. They post them up there on the starboard side. We got to know the twist of our sails. It's not windy enough to worry about it, but yesterday early on we had people luffing at the top first, so their jibs were breaking at the top first and therefore losing some power. And so we definitely want to read that. The crew should be reading the break of the jib. Are we breaking evenly or not? Now there's a massive current line that's coming out of this channel, the ABYC channel, and it's coming out of here and it's going right out. I don't know if you can see it out in front of these guys, and it's just going. You can see that glassy line going out. That's the current sweeping out. In about 3 or 4 minutes, we're going to end up being in a bunch of trash. So you know that water's coming offshore. Here, you can see the water's moving even here. So the water's moving here. Wow, that's not too slow. That's 2.5, 3 boat lengths a minute. Now they're starting to enter the current line here. This is water just flooding out of the channel until low tide. And so you're going to see a decrease in pressure. You're going to see them struggling more. You'll see it looks windier where there's no current. It looks lighter where the current is because that water's moving away from the wind. And where there's no current, it looks darker, it looks windier. And essentially it is a little bit. Okay, here we go, we're getting into the trash now. You'll start to see a lot of trash, dirty water. There's not a ton of trash here. Because it's going out so fast. Because we were just here like 10 minutes ago and it was covered in trash. Okay, so let's see. These ladies were fast yesterday. They're going right into the current. Their jib looks good. Leech cords were too tight on everybody's sail. These ladies could go outhaul east a lot. She's doing it good by boning the main on like that. The problem is it's making the bottom of the main too flat, so they should go outhaul off. They look sweet with her doing the mast trap here though. The only problem is that they're in the swirling current water. You can see the current line as I'm going. Look straight to leeward of her and forward towards that big mountain. So what's happening right now is she's losing lift on her centerboard and rudder a little bit too. But this looks good. Firm leeches. Yeah, you gotta have the leeches very solid. You can't have them twisting off a lot. The main sheet range is an inch, inch and a half, 2 inches on the trim. Okay, these guys are big for this condition. But that's okay. There's an old saying, we race to race. You know, it's nice to have goals. It's nice to want to win and strive to win, but ultimately we're racing just to race. Every time we get out here, we're gonna get better. As long as we're trying things and working at it, not just going out and doing the same sail trim. These guys look pretty good. Again, they have loose Cunningham. Their outhaul looks way better. Their bottom of their main is much fuller. We actually tried tightening the battens. We tightened the battens on a boat to try to, we knew the wind wasn't going to build more than, we're hoping to see 13 today. I'm thinking we're going to see 11 at some point, maybe. So this boat, we've got the outhaul, probably the same as the boat we were just looking at. It is race 1 on Sunday. So our outhaul looks the same. The battens look tighter on the sail. You see how full that sail is? Their main's flatter than the boat. They're kind of right in between the girls and the other guys. That's okay, it's flat water. And these guys are light, they're 230 together. Let go of the tiller, and if the boat rounds up at all, sail a little flatter. It's okay for it to head up a tiny bit. And their jib is right at the spreader tip. And he's playing the jib. Now, it's hard. Playing the jib takes a lot of practice. You can really be chasing your tail because it's really hard to get it right. Essentially, the fundamentals are is you ease as you get a puff and you feel the boat start heeling. And then as you get up to speed, you're squeezing in the jib slowly. But man, trying to steer and play the jib when you've been playing a main sheet your whole life, it takes a lot of practice. So this is where I just wouldn't be. I would just be further left because we're just going right into the current. We are straight into the current. I would have gone further left. These guys look pretty good. We got to do a lot of speed testing and start to take a look up at the leech telltales on the main. If I was Ronan, I don't know if I would just raise myself up a little more. I just think it looks windier over here. There's less current over here, so it's just windier. Really painful. When it gets light and you're straight into the current like this, the boat just dies. Now you're getting out of the current somehow. It's interesting how the current line is all right here, and over here it's much cleaner water, better wind. So it looks like you're going to survive this and start gaining back on these guys. Yeah, look, here's where the current is. See all this debris in the water, all this mucky junk. This is how it happens. The wind blows east-northeast, and then all of a sudden a westerly fills in. And it's just beautiful. It's like 6 degrees cooler right now, and just you can smell the ocean now. You can't on the screen here, but now it smells like the ocean again. So all these senses you start to feel and see before it happens. And the 29ers are down there racing race 1 on Sunday, about to round the leeward gate and then probably close reach back up to the finish line on Fort Tatt. Yeah, look at it, it's right here. Here's the line, right here. It's just hitting me. Less than a minute for race 2 on Sunday. This end is favored by a lot. The current has completely changed. The current is now moving me backwards. These guys are late again. Oh, why would he do that? Look Look at these guys, full speed. Okay. Oops. And then I would be getting onto port tack and ripping it. Race 2 on Sunday. This end was favored. They start with the committee boat in the middle of the start-finish line. That's probably why you're confused if you're watching this. The right-hand end is a flag and the committee boat is in the middle. That was okay, not bad. See that? Jib's a little tighter now than last race. There we go. We got like building breeze. We got like 7 knots right now. Really good tack, but I would have been going, you know, I would have just stayed going right. I would have just stayed in that lane. I'd have ducked and just ripped up to speed. Got away from that guy a little bit. Just make sure I'm ramped up. Okay, these ladies a little closer this time. Had a good comeback last race. Almost got back to 4th. And then I heard it was a crazy reach because the wind shifted 45 degrees. So it was a reach where you could barely lay the leeward mark with the spinnaker. I heard it got pretty exciting. Wills and Ronan just going out here to the right, and I think they're going to come out just fine against these other teams. And you can see their confidence is just the best of everybody. You see how Anton and Wyatt are just flat? This is their wheelhouse condition, 7-8 knots. Flat, neutral helm. If you get too much weather helm, if you let go of the tiller and the boat rounds up fast, you'll bring the jib in a little bit more. You'll on your tight trim will just be another quarter, half an inch tighter, and you will sail a tiny bit flatter. There's little swells right now. If you look at the breakwater, it's always breaking. That's your first indicator you're going to have swells. Is when you're going out of channel and you see swells breaking on the breakwater, you're probably headed out towards a swelly day. And the swells change the apparent wind. So right as they get to the top of the swell, the wind shifts to leeward a little. And then as they get to the bottom of the swell, they get a lift. Right now, they'll get power and a little lift. Oh, that was a long swell. They're still on it. When you get to the top of the swell, the boat's going to get flat. When you get off the swell, the boat's going to heel. It takes a lot of years to figure out how to get through the swells. So let's watch that again. You're going to see the boats heel, and then you're going to see them go really flat and almost heel to windward. And that's when you got to pump the main in. Right as the boat starts to heel to windward, you've got to over trim it for a second. Now what's causing the heel to windward is that the swell is moving from left to right here. So it's going from your left to right at about, let's say 3 or 4 knots. Let's say it's going this direction, 3 or 4 knots. Every time you get to the top of the swell, you're getting launched sideways at 3 or 4 knots. That's decreasing the apparent wind while you're getting launched to the right. Then as you get off the swell, you go through the trough, you're going to heel again. Anton's doing a much better job of not bearing away at the top of the swell. You don't want to stay on the swell longer, you want to get off the swell. You want to stay up. As you go over the top of the swell, you want to stay up. And again, right at the top of the swell, the crew has to pump the main right at that spot. Race 2 on Sunday, and you know, it is Long Beach, a go-right day. The problem is that maybe we're in the lee of the breakwater. This is a weird current line coming off of this breakwater. These girls look pretty good now. It looks windier out here, so that might have been bad coach advice. to bang the right corner, because this is lighter right here. That's why we race, man. We learn all this stuff. So we had an easterly yesterday, then we had a northeast today, and then this is the first race where we started in a northwesterly. And again, when we have a lot of experience, we would have considered the fact that, hey, is there going to be less wind under the breakwater? And we're going to see how she comes out here. She looks windier than these other guys.
Summer Hog. First 29er is around the weather mark. Thank you, Alfred.
Race 2 on Sunday, first weather mark. Nice northwest. Yeah, this is actually west northwest. So what, 290 on the compass is my guess. 270, 65. I don't know. West. How did they have a rigging problem on day 2? Race 2 on Sunday.
Summer Hog. First
Wills and Ronan have been fast downwind. This is a definite gain. They're both trapping about the same. Goals for today were for the crew to slam forward, be close to the shroud in the light spots. If you put the knuckle of the bow down in the water and the stern rises not out of the water but not dragging, rakes are massed forward. You'll be able to hold a little lower lane through the light spots. The whole K is getting the mainsail shape round for soaking conditions like this. They're kind of mid-trapping conditions. Mainsail is full as you can get it, bang just right, barely on, but not too loose. And the crew moving fore and aft, and the puffs just leaning back and just barely curling the spinnaker. Right, as you bend in, go against the shroud. Here's the gates right here. Still not sure which gate's better. I thought I saw the leader of the Vipers go around the left one. Which one do I think is more upwind? If I was Wills, I would jump his jibe. I would get ready to go anytime. And even if I jibe a touch too early, I might get bow out on him on the other side. So I would probably be going here. Anton's going low with his main in. When you go low, you want to get your main pretty far out. Or you do that. Didn't need to jibe early on him. So that was just an outstanding downwind leg. Can't tell you exactly how he gained on him on that port tack, but I think his main was looser as they were soaking low. One of the things. Coming in hot to this buoy, probably this buoy's a little further upwind. I'll be able to tell here once they go around.
First 29ers around the lunar mark.
If I was racing right now, if that was a starting line, I would start at the left end. I'd start at this end if it was a starting line, so there we go. They picked the correct end. Good. Jib in slow, and then all the way jib. Really good. So these two have sailed together. This is their third day. That looked pretty good, man. Close race after race 2. That was close. The girls came back here. They all finished within 15 seconds of each other. Gonna sail one of those someday, aren't you? Same thing, little curl up there. Race 3 on Sunday. What did we learn the last race? The last race is so I was thinking maybe starting on port tack and just busting out to the right away, but that would not have worked unless you did it a little bit late. Her jib's too far out. Maybe. When you're to windward of those guys, you probably got to have the jib just on the tight side a little. Try to survive there a little bit longer. You can see the twist differences. The mains all look pretty much the same. It's good that Carly and Kate have their main quite tight. That windward one quite tight, because they're in a tight lane there. The girls have their jib too loose. 1-8-4-1 girls usually in there. Got her jib too loose. She should tack down. Never mind. Now she did okay to put off to try to give herself space, but she put it off a little much. Not a bad tack. Oh. Again, today, that's what we learned. Is that in the swells, it's going to mess with some teams, especially a big team. It's going to hurt a big team. Every time you go like this on the swell, you're going to lose apparent wind. At pretty much the same rate as the swell is moving. So when you get to the top of the swell, you're getting moved to the right with the swell at 3 knots, 4 knots for just a couple seconds. And so you lose the wind. Doing okay here.
They've got a 2-lap race.
Okay. You're gonna see that the top of the jib, the main looks fine, but they're losing power. The top of the jib is luffing. Right there, she is luffing at the top. She has a little too much twist. She could have a little more power if she pulled that in a little. Okay, here's the swell. She's going. Okay. Good. Come out of the tack, you shoot forward and out. You want to get the stern out of the water right away, or just not dragging. So you're under the boom, grab the trap, go forward, right up where the shroud is at the end of the tack. Okay, her jib's a little tighter on this tack, and starboard looks lifted. Yeah. You have to remember that as you get more power and the crew starts straightening their legs, the lead to the jib is going to blow out 2 or 3 inches more than it was. It's going to twist off a lot. Race 3 on Sunday. The 2 outside boats are ahead. I think we're losing trees big time to them. See, we're losing the anchored ship. Yeah. Let me show you if we're on a collision course. Let me put myself on a collision course with the lead. Watch the ship behind. Oh, big wave. Okay, see the ship behind? That's what big. Okay, I'm on a collision course right now. Okay, now watch this. Watch the ship. I'm on 84 ship. That means I'm crossing him. See that? I'm crossing him. Now we're on a collision course. See how it's not changing the wheelhouse? We're on a collision course. Okay, now I'm gonna let him crossing. Now he's crossing me, so I'm losing the ship. Okay. Now I'm on a collision course right there. I'm gonna bow the ship right there. And now I'm gonna go back to him crossing me. You guys see that? I don't know if that makes sense. That's how we tell if we're ahead or behind people. Anton and Wyatt, Turkey Day Regatta, Long Beach. Ronan and Wills. Oh yeah, Julia and Sky right here. We had like up to 24 knots yesterday, Turkey Day Regatta in Long Beach. I did my first Turkey Day Regatta 44 years ago, Savage. Went to that regatta with Brian and Alan Ledbetter and my brother. Last race of the day. These videos are long. There's a lot to think about. Our biggest goals are a youth world qualifier, or it should be, but 29er Midwinters West in March. That's our team goal, getting the most teams out there. We gotta have our sail program put together. We gotta have our gasket situation figured out perfectly. Your board has to be able to go up and down during a race, but not too. It should fit tight, but not too tight. It's a very delicate balance. You got to get it right.
This is outrageous. You're asking me, I don't know.
Big waves. All I want you to watch, I know I'm going through big waves, is how flat they are and how it doesn't change. All you're doing is gaining a little height, either in a flat spot or when you feel really good. And the rest of the time you're kind of pressed on it, fighting the wind a little, trying to create more power. It's just gaining height in the flat spot, especially if you get a long one. You're gonna let the boat fly up a little. Lead to the jib just outside the spreader, but the jib's tight enough so that it's not luffing at all on the leading edge. He's either got a broken snap or one came undone at the top. It's okay, he knows it. Wouldn't be good in a race. You don't want scallops between the hanks on these boats. When you don't have the jib halyard tight enough, it's the same as moving the jib lead back. Okay, so if you lower your jib, you change the angle of the jib sheet, essentially moving your jib lead aft. So you want the front of the jib up. You want the front of the sail up all the time. You're in the top hole, and you want the jib up smooth on the leading edge, barely in light air. But no scallops. These telltale flies quite a bit on them in this wind. This is what, 9, 10 knots. Let's go look at the other guy. Okay, well, I think that's too much twist. twist in the main at the top. You're just losing side force. It's not windy enough. Leach of the jib is inside the spreader just a little. So that's the thing we're working on, is every day getting out there, comparing to each other and talking to each other about trim. Because you can see we're a little different there. They looked quite different than Anthony. Down to the last videos, I would say their leach of their jib is well more open than the boys was. So I just didn't get to them between races. I think she's just sailing with not enough power. When you don't have side force, the boat gets tippier too. It'll heel to windward easier. You gotta have side force to keep the pressure to leeward. You want the mast being pressed to leeward so the boat won't rock to windward. Okay. Yeah, wow. Shifting gears right now would be, you know, if they just raised their jib halyard, that would move their jib lead forward and their jib would look perfect. Their jib halyard is just not on. It's too loose. Main looks pretty good. They could go with more vang and less outhaul and hike hard. But again, the day was dominated by the swells. This is what happens when you have swells, is people get that far ahead. And these are not big swells. Wait till you go to Europe or San Diego, it's, you know, Mission Bay Ocean is double these size swells. But you can see the skipper will bear away as the swell launches them. And you don't want to do that. You want to go straight as much as you can and get off that thing. So a tighter leach, a fuller bottom of the main, and her hiking harder. Last race, here's the boys. Oh, there we go. Okay, so their jib is tighter than the girls. Their main is easily as much twist. Bottom of the main flatter. I think their vang needs to go on, their outhaul needs to go off. It's just, his leach is just twisting off too much. He's losing power. His knuckles should be in the water a little more, I think. I think they're dragging the stern. I don't think it's that windy. And you're going to see the front of his main luffing. It should not luff. He should hike. Yeah, see it luff up there? No way. He's not hiking. You don't want that's drag. So every time your main luffs like that right now when you're not overpowered, it's pushing you backwards. So you're losing a tenth of a knot. You're just not getting enough lift on the boards. That's alright. I would just put the vang on too. The whole sail shape's changing. Every time he uses the main, the middle of the main gets fuller and loves.
After the 29ers, we can pull the pin, correct?
That's alright.
Yes, sir.
Gotta work with him.
And thank you.
This is hole number 1 for the Olsen 25. I sailed on that boat when I was 19 years old in what's called Horsey, Midget Ocean Racing Conference races. We used to have under 30-foot racing. Not one design racing, all different kinds of boats, but that is hole number 1. Amazing. It was a really good Morsi boat actually, the Olsen 25. Nothing as good as an Olsen 30, like the Olsen 30 is a way better boat, but the 25 rated really well. Oh yeah, here comes the girl, heading home. Poor thing's got, they have a garbage bag on their heel. They don't have kelp. They actually have a black plastic bag on their